Hello and welcome to episode 83 of the Critical Twits podcast, where today we're going to talk to you about our first ever Malifaux tournament. Hello and welcome back to the Critical Twits. I'm Brian Ennis.
And I'm Aaron Ravinsky.
And this is a podcast all about geek culture.
Yes.
As we decided last week.
Yeah.
It's only taken us 82 episodes.
Yep.
This being episode 2 of the New Order, where we actually know what we're about.
Yeah.
Yay. So welcome to the Critical Twits. Thank you very much for listening. We're going to be talking about our first ever Malifaux tournament, because back in March, the lovely Australians of the Red Jokers A Faux Show podcast invited myself and Joe, another one of the Critical Twits, onto their show to talk about Malifaux. Mm-hmm. And they set us a challenge. And the challenge was to attend a Malifaux tournament.
Yes.
Now, we may have cheated because we did attend a tournament, but we also made our own tournament because getting to other tournaments was really hard.
Yeah.
So
they don't happen very often in there's sort of certain little pockets, and they're not very close to us generally.
Yeah, we've had some of our listeners, thank you very much for getting in contact and telling us about them. We have tried to fit them into our schedules. We've tried to attend them, and it just, whatever reason, the times that the local tournaments here in the UK occur, we just haven't been able to get to. And we felt like we were letting you down. Yeah. So we are not letting you down. We are pumping you up, trying to go with some kind of inflatables semantic field. I'm trying to remain within that. It didn't really work, did it? We're going to inflate you now, everyone, so hold on tight. So we decided that we would hold a tournament of our own, or rather the opportunity was presented to us and we decided to use this as a kind of a tie-in, because we have a new player. Mm-hmm. And as quite often happens with new players to games, our current new player, hi Chris, thank you very much for organising a tournament for us. Not only providing prize support in the form of Malifaux Guilders, which he'd been collecting off to internets, because he's not a official person who can give them out. It's just a chap who we know who plays games, but also provided lunch for us. I bought us a whole load of crisps and sandwiches I couldn't eat because mayonnaise. But the thought was appreciated.
Yeah.
If you too hate mayonnaise, please remember to like this video, and I'll use it as evidence against culinary crimes in the sick foods division and other puns. So we initially, this is where things get really complicated. So we initially scheduled ourselves to play with 6 players, 5 games each, so everyone played everyone.
Yeah.
And one of the big things we found with Malifaux is that we have been playing games that take far too long.
Yeah, 4 to 5 hours long.
4 to 5 hours for a 50 Soulstone game. Now, that is far too long because in Tournament Malifaux, you're talking 2 hours and 15 minutes to play a 50 Soulstone game.
Yeah.
So we were nowhere near that.
Yeah.
And so this was a really great opportunity for us to kind of focus and not get distracted and try to make those decisions a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
Malifaux has so many decisions because every time I do something to you, you have the option to cheat and use your cards.
Yeah.
Now, the control hand is my favourite thing about Malifaux. Mm-hmm. Maybe second. I think the models were crap. I wouldn't care about the control hand. I wouldn't play the game.
True, yeah.
But it's my favourite thing about the game of Malifaux. And so, you can't sort of change that. But it does induce a lot of what some board game bobbins people, they refer to as analysis paralysis, where you have lots of decisions and you get stuck on, you can't decide what to do. Yeah. Do I cheat this? Do I cheat that? Do I make sure I don't get hit? Do I make sure I do hit? And you've got your 6 cards to last you the whole turn. Yeah. Some of the quickest turns we ever have are when people have just got like rubbish control hands.
Yeah.
Because there's no cheating.
Yeah, go for it.
Or you burn through it in a couple of activations or something really important, and then it's like, oh, we've both got no cards left. Right, we just flip what happens. Yeah. And it moves forward a little bit quickly. But yeah, so we're trying to improve our game because I think us going along and playing at the speed we were playing at a tournament in a shop somewhere, we'd probably get beaten to death with table legs.
Yeah. And the rest.
Table arms, table torsos.
Yes.
Table abdomens. Do tables have abdomens?
I suppose
it's the bit above the legs.
Yeah.
So it's just the rest of the table.
Yeah.
So a table is a giant abdomen with legs poking off of it.
Yes.
Excellent. Anatomy. So we set ourselves this target, and we decided that our games wouldn't be 50 soul stones. It was a bit too far for us, but they're going to be 35 soul stones.
Yeah.
And to stop that kind of what should I take, what should I not take, and to help some of us actually get some bloody painting done for once, we thought we'd pick a 50 soulstone crew.
Yeah.
As a kind of like a pool,
yeah.
and then we pick 35 soulstones worth of stuff like that. So it gave us a little bit of tactical flexibility we wouldn't have got by taking the same crew to everything.
Yeah.
But also meant that we were all aiming to have all of our models painted in time for the day.
Yes.
So that 50 soulstones completely painted. Now, I think what other people were trying to do was like get the models they'd already built and not painted yet, and make them painted and make them look nice.
Yeah.
I went out and bought a brand new crew.
Yeah, and I kind of chose mostly new models to put in mind that I hadn't put together yet.
So it actually became an excuse to buy a bunch more stuff.
Yeah.
But if you do paint all of those, then statistically the percentage of painted models in your collection will rise, just not by as much.
Yeah.
So, it was still... No, it was just an excuse, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So, before we sort of go into the tournament itself and sort of explain what happened and share our sort of insights into what happened, I've already said that, and share our insights into what we learned and what we liked and maybe didn't like about playing so many games in such a big rush. I thought I'd mention what we took, so people can kind of picture what we're painting and what we were planning on doing.
Yeah.
Is it now a good time to explain that Aaron didn't take part in the tournament?
Yeah, probably.
So, the day before the tournament, we had some scheduling problems and some unexpected events. Life gets in the way. Yeah. You can't game and have fun all the time. And so Colin and Aaron were both forced to drop out like an overlarge testicle in an undersized thong.
Yes. They do kind of look like a testicle head. Yeah, it's fine.
I shouldn't laugh at my own jokes, but sometimes I talk and I don't know what I'm saying until I hear it with my own ears. It doesn't enter my brain at any point.
Because if it did, you'd probably make yourself sick.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't do it. But yeah, you're both hairy and you both dropped out. Plonk. So, what were you planning on taking then, Aaron, just so you can explain? Now, what we also did is me and Aaron played a game tonight before we recorded the podcast. So, you've got a little bit of experience with these models that we can talk about later, and you can get a little bit of a feel for it.
Yeah, that's what we did. So, I took Misaki, because she is the only master I have still.
Bloody, we've been recording Malifaux podcasts for 2 years, and you've got one master.
Yeah. But I like Misaki, even if I'm crap with her.
Yeah. Now, she's considered... We've been looking at the list of crap masters that was... I don't know if it's officially sent out, but there's people playing games with the underloved masters, the underappreciated masters, and Misaki is on that list.
Yeah, she is, yeah. Yeah. And there's probably some good reasons why.
Yeah.
Learning curve is very difficult. So I took Untouchable and Disguise as some upgrades for her.
The Disguise was really good in our little game.
Cannot charge this model, which really helped.
Can't charge a master. That's really good.
Yeah.
So I can see your thinking there.
Yeah. I took a Toto. Because he's always done me fairly well.
Because a Toto brings the rains down in Africa, Aaron.
Funny enough, I did take the Call the Thunder upgrade with him. So yes, he does. Yeah. I took a Fahatsu with me as well. Yeah. So I went for a 2 henchman pool.
Yeah.
So I had a bit of flexibility. But it's because I got rid of the Thunder Archers, which I've learned to have a big fondness for. You
removed the crutch that they had become from your game.
Yes.
Yeah. You were experimenting in a new direction.
Yeah. Instead, I took a couple of Waku Raiders.
Nice.
And 2 Ten Thunders Brothers as well. well, yeah, they are both brothers. It's the Walking Raiders.
Are they each other's brothers, or just general brothers? Someone's brother.
I don't know.
Are they brothers from another mother?
Possibly.
Are they brothers from a different lover?
I mean, in my game, yeah, I like to think of them as, sort of adopted siblings that have taken each other on. And
were they taken in at an orphanage?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah, what are their names?
Well, I haven't come up with names for them. They're orphans. Nobody cares.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't actually mean that, just in case anybody who has been orphaned is listening.
It's just reminded me of I've been marking exam papers, and in so I now know 7 books better than I know my own self. And you've got those children in Dickens' A Christmas Carol,
yeah,
which are like the living embodiment of various problems.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, like psychopomps for terrible things that happen. And so there's these 2 kids, Ignorance and Want, that are lying around in the street, symbolising problems. And it just, that's what they're called now.
Yeah, yeah.
In my head, you've got Ignorance and Want.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Can Want be the fat one?
Yes, because one of the brothers is ridiculously huge compared to the other 2.
So there's 3 of them, 2 of which look like very similar models in very similar garb with very similar weapons. Yeah. And then their fat friend with
a mask on, so he's the same.
Yeah, so he's got a mask, but he's got a sledgehammer, and the others have stabby things. Yeah, it's really weird.
Yeah, it's very odd.
But yeah, so I took Jack Daw. Don't you go in there, Jack Daw, because he's gonna curse you.
Copyright strike.
Yes, yeah, we've just lost the entire thing. We did get a copyright strike this week. Well, we got a copyright slap on the wrist because we started doing Twitch, and in Twitch sometimes they'll have songs, and some of those songs might not belong to the people who made the game that you're playing, and therefore some weird record company. I mean, there's still record companies out there. Who's paying someone money to make? Oh, we're going to pay this guy £1 million. He's just using GarageBand and auto tune. That's what everyone does. Don't understand music anymore. But yeah, so we got in trouble. Yeah. But yeah, I took Jack Daw.
Yep.
I put the cards away and thus ruined my momentum.
Yep.
And yeah, I took. Okay. So when we found out that things were slightly different, we then changed format. They're all over the place today.
You moved up the Soulstone pool to
60.
Yeah.
And we increased the size of the game to 40.
Yeah.
Because we thought, I think everyone just wanted an excuse to use some different stuff and have a few more options on the day.
And it made more sense if you're going to have 2 less players, so you've got more time for games.
Yes.
Really. So although they were still played in the 2 hours 15 minutes time limit.
Yeah.
Expanding to do more stuff was more interesting.
Yeah. So for those who are not really in the know, Jack Daw outcasts. He is the tormented spirit of a cursed man, according to the front of his card. It says tormented spirit cursed. He's undead. And he was a man that used to hang over the gates or over the bridge on the train station. Is it from a tree? There's a tree in Malifaux. It's a famous tree.
Yeah.
I've not really looked into it. I mostly listen to other people and go, yes, I want to play the game. Yeah, he's a famous figure in Malifaux who was hanging from a tree, and then one day he was gone. And I actually quite like the background. There's the story I read about him. So there's a corrupt mayor, sheriff, leader of a town, who is taking, if someone gets in his way politically, he'll frame them for something and have them executed. He's been torturing his enemies. He's been being really, really, rather quite naughty, as Jesus would say.
Yeah.
And so the townsfolk rise up against him, and all these spirits and these figures appear and rise from the dead, and you get these dead spirits joining the fight. And fighting the guards and killing the people who've been oppressing these brave village folk.
Cool.
And then they turn on the village folk because they're just as guilty as the others because they turned against their betters and their leaders and they betrayed them.
Oh, God.
So he murders everyone and then walks off.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I really like that story, and I really like the image in my mind as I read it.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'll play Jackdaw.
Yeah.
His gimmick is distributing curses to the opponent, which I have now got down pat because I did my best thing against Aaron. So he has a series of injustices: drowning injustice, guillotine injustice, and firing squad injustice. Now we're not going to go completely into things. Like, we could almost record a podcast on Jackdaw.
Yeah.
Which people are interested in.
We can.
Let us know. There's a very good Schemes and Stones. Schemes and Stones do really good in-depth master-based podcasts where they talk about all the options and what to go with them and how they work and how they don't work and what you need to do.
Yeah.
And I listen to that. So, I don't want to just regurgitate what they said.
Yeah.
I've got some slightly different ideas.
Yeah.
But as a starting place for any master, they're a really good place to go listen to what they have to say.
Yeah.
I used to go on the Pull My Finger wiki.
Yeah.
But that seems a bit out of date and a bit basic now. We've been playing for a while.
Yeah.
Whereas Schemes and Stones is much more current and up to date and good.
Yeah.
So it's almost like Pull My Finger is like your very basic resource, and then you want to improve that, you go on to Schemes and Stones. And if you want to have fun, you just hang out with us.
Yeah.
And drink Lemsip with... I didn't put any brandy in it, Aaron.
Oh.
Did put the juice of an entire lime and half a lemon in it.
Yeah.
It's rather tart. There is a bit of honey in there, but not enough. So he has the 3 different cursed upgrades. They mess with your opponent in various ways, so you can lose a model. They take damage when they take certain actions. They can kind of flip them over. But one of the things he's good at is he can curse you and then rip that curse off of you and do extra damage.
Yeah.
So he has quite low damage track for a master, 1, 3, 4 and 2, 3, 4. I think.
Just very low actually.
But he can increase that to 4, 5, 6 in combat, which is then starting to look a bit more juicy.
Yes.
He's sort of a mid-range master.
Yeah.
So he has an 8-inch ranged attack. He interacts really well with tormented models.
Mm-hmm. Which the curses cause.
Yeah, so he can make models tormented and then manipulate them. I took the twist and turn upgrade.
Yep.
Which means he can either borrow actions from other tormented models. So you could make an enemy model with a really powerful attack tormented and then steal it and punch it in the face with its own thing.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really get that off much. Or one I used a lot more is to get another tormented model to take an action.
Yes.
So you can manipulate the enemy, get them to hit each other, get them to walk away from where they need to be, walk over to you, or walk themselves within charge range of a different model. Or you can give one of your own tormented some good bits and pieces to sort of go with it. So he's got a really interesting play style. Now, I've heard tell on internets that he's really good.
Yeah.
I kind of agree. I felt he was quite powerful.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the game we played... Definitely did. I don't think you even managed to attack him once.
No.
And he murdered a bunch of stuff and really messed Mizaki up by his upgrade combinations.
Yes. Yeah, completely took her out for a turn. Yeah,
so she had no cards left. So you can spend AP and discard a card to get rid of one of the things he's cursed you with.
2 AP.
2 AP, sorry, and 1 card. But I cursed you with two curses.
Yes.
One that said you couldn't attack anyone or you take damage. One that said if you took any tactical actions, including like moving and charging, you would also take damage.
Yeah.
So they're the 2 types of action in the game.
Yeah, so I couldn't do anything without taking damage.
And because you didn't have any cards to discard left at that point...
I couldn't turn them round.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, the reason you had no cards left, Aaron, is because of Montresor, who is the thematic henchman from Jackdaw's box.
Mm-hmm.
He's widely regarded as being a puff of farty air.
I don't understand why.
Yeah, he's expensive. He's 9 soul stones. I did take his specific upgrade as well, Fearful Whispers, which lets him draw models in to base contact with him. Why would you want to do that, Brian? Why would you want models closer to you? That sounds bad. Well, let me tell you, because if you're in base contact with him, you have to take defense duels or take damage when you activate. if you make an attack while you're in base contact with him, you have to discard a card.
Yep.
And if you're close to him, your willpower is reduced.
Mm-hmm. It's within 5 inches, isn't it?
Yeah. My favourite thing about him, which I only managed to get off against you, was Comfort in Fear. Until the end of the turn, any model within 5 inches which succeeds on a horror duel suffers 2 damage. That is, succeeds on a horror duel. And he is terrifying against the living.
Yeah.
So you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you fail, you're paralysed. Your go ends.
Yeah.
If you pass, you take damage.
Yeah, and 2 damage is quite a lot.
And he becomes, if used well, he becomes a bit of a sponge for enemy resources. They're cheating cards in to pass this duel or that horror duel or that defence duel. Or they're wasting AP to step away from him so they can attack him without discarding a card.
Yeah.
Or they're throwing lots of cards away.
Yes.
And so I found him really effective in all of my in all 4 of my games, 3 in the tournament and 1 against you. He's really good. I really like him.
I was going to say, I didn't have my models particularly tightly packed. They were spread out to go do things, but because of the pull abilities on him and other models as well, you pull them all in together. At which point I couldn't do anything without having to smash him in the face. I had to get rid of all those cards in order to kill him, so I could actually get away and do something effective. And that wasted all my cards, which then led me to suffer with the curses.
Yeah, and then Jackdaw went, ha-ha, and messed you up.
Yeah.
That's how he talks, by the way.
Yeah.
But it's more, his head's in a bag, it's more, ha-ha!
Yeah.
Yeah, so he was really good throughout the tournament for me.
Yeah.
He was my henchman, and I'm concerned by why people don't like him.
Yeah,
but, different strokes for different folks. So if you've used him, if you can tell me why he's rubbish, that'd be great. If you can tell me why, if you do, you think he's good, that'd be good as well.
Yeah.
I took Lady Legaia, who is the totem. I didn't use her. She's also the only model I painted, I will admit at this point. So the one model I didn't use is the one model I painted.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with me either. I'm just a disappointment to myself, to my faction, and most importantly, to my parents, who don't listen to this podcast. Because I'm such a disappointment. So I can't really tell you about her. I like the model, which is why I painted it first.
Yeah.
Because she's got a big floaty dress and no legs, like a ghost. I took a couple of Guilty, which are the minions that come in his box, in Jack's box. I took the one on the who is an about to be executed prisoner. I think like lethal injection, tied to a bed, writhing in torment. I really like that model. It's really nice.
It is very cool, yeah.
I took the one on the electric chair with the sparks coming out of its eyes. I think the sparks are too much, but it's an okay model. I didn't take the one that was chopped up into bits and nailed to a cross because it looks like shit. It's a horrible model. I resented every second I spent putting it together, and then I didn't use it. I then took a combo recommended by Schemes and Stones. So one of the cool things about Jack is he can hire other tormented models. So any faction, if they're tormented, Jack can hire some of them.
Yeah.
As many as he likes. He's not limited like some models like to 4 or 2 or whatever.
Zaki is with
any tormented at all. And there's loads of tormented. The Crossroads 7 are all tormented.
Yeah.
Papa Loco, Perdita's crazy granddad, uncle, cousin, nephew, niece, whatever he is, is tormented. I bought that box for Papa Loco and then didn't put him in the crew, but I now have a Perdita crew, so that's cool. But I took some Resurrectionist models to go with him. So I took the Drowned, who are a tough 6 soulstone, minion, who can push models towards hazardous terrain. Why would you want to do that, Brian? I hear you ask inside my head. Because nobody uses hazardous terrain because it's a pain in the backside, and what do you use, and you've got to model it, and it's kind of awkward, isn't it? Here's a bit of terrain that's going to damage you. Well, everyone will ignore it and run around it.
Yeah.
Wow, because if you take Chakuna Ubume, what a wonderful name. Jakuna Abume was the crux of my game.
Yes.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I did.
It's all right. Cool.
Good,
yeah. It's a problem-free, scary banshee, Jakuna Abume. Yeah. So I made a song up, which I sang all day in my head. Jakuna Abume is a Japanese water spirit that leads people to drown.
Yeah.
The model is really cool because it has a kind of like drowned zombie sailor thing. It's standing in a whirlpool and it's hugging a tiny child in a really sinister fashion, and I really like that. It's again 6 soul stones. It's manipulative. It's incorporeal. It can lure people. It can stop you walking. It has a blast thing. It can stop you charging. It does all sorts of little things, not brilliantly. The reason you take her is that the area around her for 3 inches counts as hazardous terrain for your opponent.
Yeah.
So the idea, the game plan for me was to use the drowned. They can hit people with their ranged attack that pushes them towards hazardous terrain.
Yeah.
Montresor can unleash his noose and pull people in base-to-base contact. So if he's next to the Jakuna Abume, that works perfectly.
Yep.
Jackdaw can push tormented models around.
So you push the hazardous terrain towards your opponents.
Or if there are models within 8 inches of the enemy that you've cursed, because they're tormented, you can target the Abume.
Yeah.
And push them towards her. And you could do all sorts of things like that.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of my goal.
Yeah. A lot of model control.
Yes. So and niggly bits of damage.
Yes. Niggly, awkward, pain in the arse bits of damage.
Yeah. So to back up that festival of fun, I took a few of my favourite characters that I hadn't yet painted from Outcasts, mostly because they're good models, and also, and I get a lot of use out of them in all my Outcast crews. Outcasts are really good because I hire some of them in elsewhere as well. So things like my Frycore Librarian, who actually is the only model in the list. I added it last minute because it was painted.
Yeah.
When we went up to 60, I was like, I'll add that. It's one of my favourite models in the game because it can heal stuff really, really well, and healing is really, really good, especially in small games.
Yes.
I took Johanna, not Johan, Johanna. I splashed out on the... That sounds wrong, doesn't it? I splashed out on Johanna.
Yeah.
Poor girl. So, yeah, I jizzed all over Johanna. I bought Johanna in the last big weird sale where I could actually afford to buy stuff when the pound wasn't made of... Well, it's ounces now, isn't it? It's not a pound.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I wanted to buy the cat crew recently.
Sad times.
Too expensive. Worked out at £70
Jesus.
£70. There are children that weigh less than that. That makes no sense. But it's a lot of money for a crew. For those of you that are listening in foreign lands, and hi. A typical crew box, when they at the first sort of wave, you can now pick up for the first few crew boxes for £28-30. The new ones go for between 35 and 40. So the last lot, I was a bit put off by that, but having opened the Titania box, because she was my second choice, so I bought her too, and then didn't do anything with her. She cost me £35.
Yeah.
But can go for sort of 40. But there's a load of stuff in there. It was packed. It had a full sprue and then 2 extra, like the smaller model sprues in there as well.
Yeah.
The big main sprue was 4 models, and then the other 2, the totem and the master, was separate.
Yeah.
So there was a lot in there. So actually, if someone had shown me the inside, I should look at the G-Mort's unboxings more, because they're really good.
Yeah.
And he's really nice. And I should look at them, because then I would have bought one ages ago, but the price put me off, because it's like, why am I spending like nearly a tenner more?
Yeah, but you do feel you're getting your money's worth, whereas nearly doubling the price. Yeah.
After that secretary, we returned back to Johanna, who I took for her healing.
Yeah.
Which she can kind of heal herself. What I took her for, was the condition ending. So she has an ability to end a condition. She needs a small ram.
Yeah.
What's the name for a small ram?
A goat.
A goat. No. What's a baby lamb called?
It's a lamb.
Oh, it's a lamb.
Yeah.
Fuck me, what the fuck did I just say? Yeah, so it's a lamb. It's a boy lamb. That's what I meant. A small ram is a lamb. Oh my god, I can't even talk. Don't words good anymore, Aaron. Or more like a poke rather than a ram.
Yeah.
Yeah. I rescued that. Cool. No one will know. So she can end conditions. Now, Colin is a treacherous bastard.
Yes.
And he uses lots of poison because he likes McMorning. So I thought, I'm going to ruin his day by having a model that runs around removing all the poison.
Yes, before he does it.
Yes. And it didn't really happen.
No.
Never mind. Life is hard. And then I took Sue. Sue, who is essentially Johnny Cash.
Okay.
Named after a boy called Sue. A boy named Sue. Something like that.
Boy named Sue, I think. Yeah.
All his abilities are Johnny Cash songs. Which is nice.
Yeah.
Apart from Hurt, which is a Trent Reznor song. It's a Trent Reznor song. It's not a Johnny Cash song.
No.
It's a cover.
It is a cover. Yeah. She openly admitted to it.
I read something. No, yeah, he's like, I like this song. I thought I'd cover it.
Yeah,
it's fine. But I heard someone referring to Hurt as a Johnny Cash song the other day. So I hurt them.
Yes.
And I gave them no cash.
Although, in fairness, Trent Reznor has said it's the better version, in his opinion.
That's because he's a sad man.
I know.
You listen to the song, he's fucking miserable, isn't he? Yeah. People loving the other song hurt him too much. They hurt myself today. They didn't like my song. I could do the entire version of that if you like. You can play my game on my table of terrain.
But yes, you took him...
I took him to fuck off Joe.
Always a good idea, yeah.
Because Joe was playing Arcanists.
Yeah.
And Sue doesn't like Arcanists.
Yeah.
Has a protective bubble that does nasty things.
Yeah.
To casting, makes casting actions that are taken on models near Sue. They get a negative flip.
Yeah.
And so that was the only reason I took that. So there's a couple models I took knowing what people were doing.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't take anything to mess with Chris. Because Chris changed his mind every time he talked about it. He was playing a different master, so there was absolutely no point. I knew he would be playing Resurrectionists, and then he turned up with Yan Lo and played 10 Thunders.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, Yan Lo's 10 Thunder. Yeah,
yeah. He had Jakuda Abume though.
Yes, because a lot of the 10 Thunders can take other things, or because there's the spirits and stuff, particularly with Yan Lo.
Something weird going on.
Yeah.
But yes, we had a double Abume.
Yeah.
And so mostly I took stuff that I thought would be quite fun.
Yeah.
And I liked the idea of using Montresor with the Jakuna, because I didn't really see anyone mentioning that as a thing.
No.
And it worked once in one game, and it was amazing.
Yeah. But I know in the game when we played it, I was scared of that, which was influencing my movement and stuff, which is almost as effective. I
think it has more. You can't just put its influence down to it did 7 points of damage in the game. That's not a lot. It's
the psychological imprint of these things.
Yeah, especially the first game, which was let's control the middle of the table.
Yeah,
and I parked it in the middle of the table.
Yeah,
and it's like cool if you can run in and contest the objective.
Yeah,
but
it's gonna fucking hurt.
Yeah, you're gonna take damage.
Yeah,
and I was inspired by I played Chris a while back, and he used a collect crew with the fire breathing chap, and my teddy ran through a whole bunch of hazardous terrain that he puts out.
Yeah,
and it killed my teddy. Set my teddy bear on fire. and it was really sad. And the changelings were watching, and they're like children, and I mean, baby Cade was there, and he didn't know what was happening because he's a baby,
and he's refused to let you play him since.
But yeah, I mean, I haven't spoken to him since, and I mean, he's now 3 years old and he hasn't talked yet.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I think it's affected him. It's something terrible.
He's now one of the tormentors. That means you could take him one of your recruits, hopefully, but he's never going to agree to do anything you want again. Yeah.
So we played our games. I played Joe with Rasputina first, to a narrow loss on my part. I took kill the leader. We had kill the leader, destroy the leadership.
Yeah.
It's called something like that.
Yeah. Murder the lead.
Yeah. So, and then I took it off and swapped it for claim jump because Rasputina normally sits miles away from you and is an absolute pain in the backside.
Yeah, she's filth.
So, because even if you try and lure her, she'll like walk 1 and a bit.
Yeah.
Walk 4, walk 3, she's got really low walk.
Yeah, it's 4, I think.
So she just kind of very like a glacier moves very slowly towards you. So I didn't do that. It's the first time I've killed her in a game and I didn't get any points for it. And I think I lost by 1 or 2 points overall.
Yeah.
Which would have made the difference.
Yeah.
But it was a really good game. Joe's a very good player. He was trying some new stuff, so I realised just quite how obnoxious ice dancers are.
Yeah.
Especially for claim jump. Yeah,
He's talked about them before, and they've sounded mean.
They can sort of push around. They don't do. They've got a fairly good damage track actually, which is part of what I wasn't expecting. I mean, their Arcanist stuff just seems really nasty.
Yeah, they seem broken.
Yeah,
I know they're not, but from an outside perspective, somebody who doesn't play them, they seem broken. They
just seem to have lots of really good stuff.
Yeah,
Chris shared the list of models that can complete claim jump on their own.
Yeah.
So claim jump where you need to put 2 scheme markers within 2 inches of the centre line. They can't be within 4 inches of each other.
Yeah.
Now most models can only move and put down a scheme marker, or put a scheme marker down and move. They can't do other things. And it was like, here are all the models by faction. And for most of the factions, there was like 1 or 2 models that were rare 1 models, so unique characters, unique things that you can only have 1 of. And then all of the Arcanist minions. Yeah. So, I died a little inside when I saw that.
Yeah.
I think Joe may have taken claim jump in most of his games. I think he took a lot of scheme marker based things, which is fair enough.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Yeah.
So, got off to a wobbly start. Yeah. And then we had some lunch. And I ate a giant salad full of chickpeas and edamame beans. And that burst of delicious protein in healthy form, where nothing needed to die. I'm not averse to things dying to feed my rapacious needs, but I felt moral that day.
Yeah.
Took me into a game against Rob. Hi, Rob. How you doing, buddy? And Rob took Pandora and an odd selection of models because, and this is probably my favourite thing in the tournament.
Yeah.
And Rob was trying to cure some green stuff on the basis of his models.
Yes.
And he got like a roller to create like a cobblestone pattern. And it looked really good.
Yeah.
But like the rest of us, he hadn't painted any of his models leading up to the tournament, so he was doing everything last minute. Joe, I think, painted the most, so well done, Joe. But they don't look nice, mate. He uses army painter, and I'm not into that.
Yeah.
If you're into that, that's cool. But no, not for me.
Yeah.
I'd rather spend my time, which is why I have like 12 painted Malifaux models out of 100 and something, and Joe's got like twice as much as that painted.
Yeah.
So, I think the joke's actually on me. My snobbery is holding me back. Like a modern democracy, I need to modernise and move forward and have less hierarchy and more kind of embrace the proletarian manner of doing things.
Yes.
Excellent. Vive la revolution. So Rob decided he was going to pop his models on the bases into the oven.
Yeah, but
at 40 degrees.
Yes, because it turns greaser from an 8-hour curing time period into a 1-hour period.
In fact, it's more like it drastically reduces. Rather than sort of leaving it for a couple of days, he was planning on leaving it overnight at 40 degrees, and bang, there'll be rock hard paint and whatnot.
And it's a perfectly sensible option.
Unless you cook lasagna.
Yeah.
And you turn your oven up to 180 degrees, and then when you put your models in the oven, you don't change the dial, because it looks like 40 is opposite 180 on this bizarre something by some sheer coincidence.
Yeah. So it's literally the opposite end.
So when you look at the dial, it looks like it's exactly in the right place.
Yeah.
And then when you take your models out in the morning, you have some very melted models.
Yeah. I mean, you could probably flag them as working because they're supposed to look malformed and misshapen.
They were never born models, yeah.
But they really did look like they drooped really bad. Like they'd all had really bad strokes.
Yeah. Bishop looked like he'd really let himself go, so his cheeks had inflated and like his six-pack had just turned into a big blobby one-pack that was like hovering. It was kind of like hovering over his genitals, you know, like those men that have just been drinking in the same pub every day for a million years, and like all the weight just goes into their stomach, and then
the Clarkson.
You have to kind of carry it around. Yeah, like you'd almost want a wheelbarrow for your stomach, kind of thing. So Bishop let himself go. So Rob's Pandora crew. It's the first time I faced Pandora. I've played Pandora a lot, and I suddenly felt very guilty. Because Pandora's absolute pain in the backside.
Yes.
She does all sorts of niggly little bits of damage. Mm-hmm. And you can't really pin her down.
No.
And so she's a pain in the backside. She's horrible and annoying and nasty. But I managed to soldier through that and get a narrow victory. Hooray for me. And then I played Chris. Now Chris... we're looking at a bit of a discrepancy here because Aaron was planning on playing Mizaki, which is on that list of not very good masters that people seem to take as being the received wisdom of the Malifaux community. I was playing Jackdaw, regarded very strong. Joe's playing Rasputina, who is considered sort of bottom middle end, but we're lacking tricks to deal with Arcanists. We really need people's help with dealing with Arcanists because we die horribly. Rob was playing Pandora, who's renowned as being nasty to play against and a bit of a pain. Yeah. And then Chris was playing Yan Lo.
Yes.
Who is a beardy man in model only and not in rules. And so it appears on the same list as you did and was having a poor tournament.
It's such a steep learning curve, I think, with Jan, though.
Yes, yeah. I don't think it messed it. I think there's potential there with him, but
yes,
Chris is our new player, as we said earlier, and thus it's he's not played as many games as everyone else, so he's learning and having a handicap at the same time.
Yes,
by using a master that's very difficult to use.
Yeah. And playing in a tournament format where you tend to get quite drained as the games go on as well.
Yeah, so playing him in the last game means that we were both tired, but I had more sort of Malifaux instinct to fall back on because I played more games just in general. He'd also had a bad game against Joe where it looked like he was going to win, and then a lucky flip of the Red Joker had murdered his henchman and his master.
Yes.
And thus completely threw the game. And I learnt something. So I didn't realise that when you play tournament Malifaux, because we used the proper tournament rules, we just said that at the beginning. It's fucking all over the place, Aaron.
Yeah.
When you play tournament Malifaux, you play by the standardised rules which we used, and if you concede a game, you get kicked out of the tournament.
Really?
Yes. If you concede a game, you're out.
Jesus, that's quite harsh.
Very, very harsh. Yeah, there's no concessions. You have to play games to time, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Because you might end up with lots of people that have all won all their games.
Yeah.
And thus, there's a lot. The actual number of victory points you score is important.
Right. Okay.
And the number of points that you didn't concede is important. You know, like goal difference in football or that kind of thing.
Yeah, I suppose. Okay, fair enough.
And so it can throw the game. It could throw the tournament structure by conceding games. So I could kind of understand it, but it felt really harsh.
Yeah, yeah.
If you can be forced to have fun.
Yeah, it's one of those things like an ultra competitive tournament. Yeah, I suppose that makes a lot of sense. For sort of a friendly local gaming store tournament, that might seem a bit harsh and probably might put people off. Possibly. Yeah, so but I understand why it's there. But yeah, it does seem a bit cruel.
Yeah, so we kicked Chris out. We stripped him of both his clothes and his dignity.
And his sandwiches.
Yeah. Too much mayonnaise, Chris. It was such a nice thing to bring us all food. It was lovely. We were like, well, that's bollocks.
Yeah.
Go away. Because we're playing amongst friends in a little tournament, all of our own devising.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of whatever. But yeah, it seems like something to consider if you play Tournament Malifaux.
Yes.
So it's my turn to play Chris, and Chris proceeded to have some of the worst luck I've ever seen until I played you earlier, Aaron.
Yeah.
And didn't have a good game either, and I got myself another victory. Mostly through judicious use of Montresor's 4-inch nimble move, his 8-inch charge, and his 3-inch reach, which gives him a 15-inch
Again, why is it crap? I don't understand.
What normally happens, he charges off on his own, he does a load of stuff and pulls loads of models close to him, and then he dies.
Yeah.
But he's normally caused so much chaos and messed up the other person's plans that the games I've played, at least, it was completely worth it. He's the one who killed Rasputina.
Yeah.
Because he just walked out to the side of Joe's sort of little protective battle line and then charged her and walloped the snot out of her.
Yeah.
With he's recently-ish got an upgrade that gives him hard to wound, and means people have to discard cards to attack when they're in base contact.
Yeah.
And he's got that upgrade as well that sucks everyone close to him. I think that's kind of bolstered him up.
Yeah.
I felt he was 10 soul stones well spent in every game I played.
Yeah, massively. Yeah.
And I enjoyed using him. So the final standings then. Chris unfortunately bringing out the back. Rob in third place with his bloaty models being unused and his crew of random misfits assembled ad hoc that morning. Me in second, and Joe, who we should have probably said he's a critical twit. You can hear him talking about Malifaux on other episodes, but at the moment he's dead and dissolving in my bath because he beat me. I don't like it, and I'm a bad loser, and so I killed him. And so that was our final standings. Joe won every game.
Yeah.
I had 2 wins and a loss, and then it kind of stays down from there.
Yeah.
But the thing I really enjoyed about the tournament was the fact that we got every single game in that time.
Yeah.
Well, I say that we had a timer. It beeped. We stopped.
Yeah.
And when I've played other tournament style games, I played Netrunner, and in Netrunner you get the sort of the timer, and then everyone sort of you finish your go and your opponent finishes their go.
Yeah.
In Malifaux, you stop dead. You do a scoring round.
Yeah.
As if it was the end of the turn, and you're done straight away. So that was unusual.
Yeah.
But again, I can see that because time's going to be really tight.
Yes, and it's very easy to lose it in that game because there's no guaranteed end point with Malifaux necessarily.
A Netrunner match is an hour and 5, so it's less than half the time. So there's a little bit more wiggle room.
Yes.
So I think most games finished in round 4 or 5, but we don't think any of them would really have changed. I don't think, with there being in extra turns and stuff, they're all fairly resolved.
It was the same when we played as well. After be like 2 hour 15 mark seems like a good point.
Yeah,
because the game's still gotten to the point where it's going to be.
Yeah, we just finished turn 5. In our game, and so we just didn't need to flip. A card
for the extra card with the possibility of an extra turn.
Yeah. So that's fine.
Yeah.
So that was good. I think the big thing, the painting side of it, pretty much failed.
Yeah.
Chris is a brilliant painter, absolutely stunning. Might see if we can get some photos of his crew when it's done, and we'll post it up on the website www.criticaltwits.com. So I think he painted the second most.
Yeah.
And then I had one model in my crew painted. I'm not sure anything Rob had painted was already painted and was just sort of fished out of his collection because he took the melting of the models in such good grace. I would have probably thrown my toys out of the pram and not have played. I'd have lost my shit.
Yeah, same.
And he just grabbed some other models and carried on. Yeah. So, as a test of character, his character was revealed and it was found to be good. I fear that in similar circumstances, my character would be revealed to be that of a twat. Because I would...
Yeah, I think I would genuinely probably just quit Malifaux altogether at that point if I'd done that.
Yeah. Luckily, it wasn't the whole crew.
Yeah, thankfully, because Jesus, cost him just not even all the other emotional involvement of building them and playing with them and stuff, but just the financial cost.
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah,
it's expensive stuff, and Malifaux's getting more expensive, I feel.
Yeah,
because of exchange rates and similar.
Because it's not stocked everywhere in the UK. It's not as big as it should be.
Yeah,
yeah,
and it's it's mostly big in the US. Mm-hmm. The prices are set in the US, so it's interesting. As I said earlier, that Titania box being more money, but there being more stuff in it. Mm-hmm. I just assumed it was the pound being crap.
Yeah,
and so luckily there's nothing like limited edition.
Yeah,
in what got consumed by the flames.
Yes. Yeah.
So it was really good. I really enjoyed playing that many games in a row because there's more games in a row. I played more games in a day than I had in like the 3 months previously. It proved that we can play Malifaux at a decent clip. I know we're playing 40 soulstones, not 50, but we can still play. We can actually play at a decent speed. And we were getting sort of quicker and more confident.
Yes.
When we were aware that timer was there and that we should be focusing on the game.
Yeah.
So we've complained. We have complained a little bit about Malifaux taking a lot of time in the past. Yeah. I think maybe it's more us than anything else.
Yeah. Generally, I think most, with the exception of possibly Guild Ball because of the way it's set up and you play with a lot less models and stuff. But I think. Even with when we played Warmer Halls back in the day, that still took ages, way more than it normally did. Our role plays take a lot longer. We consider things far more than...
We're a bunch of thinky people. Yeah. That's why we're the critical twits and not the enthusiastic twits.
Yeah.
We consider.
Yes.
We can be enthusiastic from time to time. Once we thought about it and decided that that's what we're going to be. It was good to play the same... Master 3 times in a row. It's my first introduction. I've not played. We were going to play some warm-up games, and then we didn't.
Yeah,
and so it was good to play him 3 times in a row in quick succession because I think it cemented a lot of the learning that goes on when you're playing a new master and you're trying new things.
Yeah,
if you sort of play a game and then don't play him again for a month, you kind of lose that. Playing 3, I felt really confident playing him today.
Yeah.
I played 4 games with him and I remembered when I spoke of his damage track earlier, I'd remembered it off the top of my head.
Yeah,
I can't think of other masters that I can do that with.
No.
I was getting a fluency with the master.
Which is another thing that we found, because we're only playing the occasional games and we're all swapping and changing models all the time, that there's a lot of referencing. So when we played earlier, it was like, cool, doing this, and this. And considering the amount of niggly little bits your model can do and interference and... in between turns and doing that, you were like, cool, this does this, and then this, and then this, and then you need to worry about that when you do that. Okay, cool. But you had it down.
I'd got the order. Yeah. The interactions with Montresor where you'd activate a model next to him, you need to make a flip.
Yeah.
You then declare to attack him, so you need to make another flip.
Yeah.
Then also you need to discard a card. Then you need to make another flip.
Yeah.
And then you can finally actually hit him.
Yeah. And then there's all the extra bits while during your attack because of his last wound and stuff like that. And
and then you've got how to... So there's a lot to remember, and I just felt very fluent with it because I played those 3 games in a row in a solid chunk, and I kind of know him now. Whereas there's other masters I've played more, but because I haven't played them in such a time compressed period, they're still a bit hazy to me. They still feel a bit kind of fluffy.
Yeah.
So that's a good recommendation if you've got a new crew or a new master. Get a few games in short succession, and that will push you to sort of get that fluency much quicker.
Yeah.
And once you're sort of fluent, you're not wasting mental energy trying to remember what it does. you're using that mental energy to make the best choice, to weigh up the options, not go, what are my options?
Yeah.
Because by the time you've done that and gone, oh, it's this and this, you've burnt, concentration.
Yeah.
You might start making poor decisions.
Yes.
Whereas once you know those options off by heart, it's like bang, 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 bang. Joe talks a lot about how he kind of memorises rules.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a big part of why we consider him a good player, and why he can generally beat most of us.
Yes, because he knows his cards, so he knows exactly the right synergy to get to.
He's not forgetting, I should have done that.
Yeah.
Because he knows what that is and that he's weighed that up.
Yeah.
He's not making those little mistakes that maybe the rest of us do because we're not as fluent and not as familiar with what we do. So if you've got a crew that you really want to get into, get your mates together, play a few games one after the other.
Yeah. So the tournament setting really helped with that.
I feel, and it's really we've been in a little bit of a Malifaux rut because the games were taking so long. We were like, oh well, we haven't got enough time to play Malifaux. They're getting pushed into the back burner. Yeah, because we weren't playing. My enthusiasm for sort of building and painting had kind of waned, and we're at this isn't down to the tournament, but we're at a point where they were just finishing off the last set of releases from the September book last year. So there was nothing new going on with Malifaux. There'd been a lot of hype about the other side, which we covered back at Christmas. But there wasn't like a lot of, Malifaux. Whereas having played those 3 games, when you came around tonight, I was like, we should play a game so you can talk about your crew and how it went. And bang, and we played. I've built all of my outstanding unbuilt Malifaux models, which was a shameful amount of models. It was 3 crew boxes, 3 sort of blister boxes of 3 models each, and no, 4 blister boxes of other models, and a special limited edition single figure Misanthrope, the wastrel. Which I've had since last year, and it's just sat. It was a really dusty plastic baggy thing. It looked. I thought the card had melted. It was just the amount of grime that had accumulated on the packaging made it look horrible. I've got nothing left to build now. I might actually have to paint something.
Yeah. Sad for you.
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to play another tournament. At the end of September, beginning of October.
Yes.
That sort of time, and report back. We're going to try and tie it into using the less appreciated masters.
Yes, that way I don't have to buy a new one.
Which I think Weird are doing as well on the forums. They're doing so we can kind of tie ourselves in with that and report back on that. We're also going to try and get our hands on the new book as soon as possible, because like last year when we did a review of the new masters, which seemed really popular, it's one of the most popular things we've done, we'll have a look through, we'll look at all the upgrades for the different masters and maybe do a podcast on that and have a chat. And GG 2018, the new schemes and strategies are just about to come out. They've kind of been play tested, they'll be out soon. So actually it's like we had this lull and now it's like Malifaux again. So it's really, really good. So sorry to have been away for so long. But we just weren't playing, and we're not going to force ourselves to just waffle at you for an hour for the sake of it.
Read on the internet, because we'd be bored.
We've got to back stuff up with some practical experience, I think.
I think, to be honest with you, playing the tournament timed games will be the thing to do in future. Because now we can, having played it in that 2 hours, I mean, we did in 2 hours 30 because we had a bit of a break partway through.
I had a wee. I'm sorry. I have the bladder of a tiny child.
Bastard.
And I need to. I don't know, chat, bro.
Right. Give me a chance to look through your hand and go, I ain't going to win.
Well, it was nice of you to roll over so easily.
But that's the sort of thing where I go, cool, okay, so we turn up on a Friday. We're not going to do that, but we could turn up on a Friday and go, cool, do you want to play a game of Malifaux while we're getting kind of calmed down, settled in?
Well, when
that's fitting in an evening.
When we have a podcast day or a gaming channel day, I suppose.
A
YouTube, a content creation day.
You can't get away from it.
I know. But we make so many different things. That's the thing. Like we do a podcast, we do videos. We don't just cover gaming anymore.
No.
So We do all sorts of things.
Yeah.
So when we get together for a day and go, right, but let's make some stuff and do some things. If we played Malifaux, that took half the day up. Whereas now it can take a quarter of the day up.
Yeah.
And that's actually doable.
Yeah.
Because we can play that game and then we can move on and do something else.
Mm-hmm.
And it changes the thing. If it's taking your time to set up, you're kind of expanding that.
Yeah.
If it's taking your time to then talk about it at the end, you're expanding it even further. So that 4-hour game for us to then do something with or to really sort of chew over is taking even more time.
Yes.
Whereas that 2 hours, it's just cutting so much time out. And then we've got more time to sit and discuss it and do the other bits and pieces, which is what we're doing. So I feel like we're going to be playing quite a lot more Malifaux, and I'm quite happy to just set that time limit for every game that we play from now on. I'd happily do that because it just focuses the mind a little bit.
Yes, yeah. And it becomes less of a frustrating thing for me when every single card I fucking draw ends up being low.
Well, if you spend 4 hours having a bad game, that's a lot worse than spending 2 hours having a bad game. The times I can be a really bad loser. I can be cheers, buddy. I can be a stroppy mess.
Yeah, same.
And it's always when a game has been going on too long.
Yes.
Because I can play a half an hour game, get absolutely hammered, and I don't care.
Yeah.
Because winning's not that important to me. But if I'm not enjoying myself for an extended period of time, that's when I start to
feel like you've wasted time.
You've
had fun. Yeah, no, I'm the same.
This game was over 2 hours ago. Why have we bothered?
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Well, it's like with Netrunner. You might play it for an hour and a half if you've got a particularly lengthy game going on. But even if I've had a game where I've been absolutely trounced, I've had a laugh with it. It's fine.
Yeah,
and I did absolutely awfully in the game we played just before this.
Yeah,
and I've had games like that before, and when it's been over that 4.5 hour mark...
you had a game of... You mean the game of Malifaux?
Yeah, the Malifaux we played, Sorry. So when we played the game Malifaux earlier, in that short time period, I had as bad a game as I probably ever had.
My control hand in the final turn, I showed Aaron, was a 10, an 11... 10 and 11... A 12 and 2 13s and like a 5 or something.
Yeah, and I had a 2, 4, 5, 6 and a 12. Yeah. And another one.
And that seemed fairly typical of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And there was one point where you had a positive damage flip and you flipped a 2 and a 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was just, your luck was terrible. But you were saying that because
it was in such a short space of time, rather than the longer games, because I've had loads of games like that. My luck with cards is not run, so I'm not playing poker against anybody. This is a future reference. But those longer games, I've gotten to the point where I've thrown cards on the table and I've gone out in a huff and I've sulked for the rest of the day because I've been frustrated with the game.
Yeah.
Whereas today I was like, I lost. Oh, my cards are crap. Yeah. And it was silly. It's fine. Yeah. I don't feel I don't feel annoyed at it. I just feel that was bad luck. Never mind. Yeah,
because it doesn't mean as much because it's not dragging out that kind of that sourness or that. Yeah, it's okay to lose in a short period of time because then you move on to the next thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
But when you're just waiting for the game to finish and it's going on and on, that's what I find frustrating. Not the losing itself, but the.
I know I've lost at this point. Why am I still doing this?
Yeah, why you feel disempowered for longer, and then that breeds, the frustration, etc. Excellent. So I really enjoyed the tournament. I'm really glad we did it. The next step will be for us to find a proper tournament to go to that isn't run at our friend's house.
Yes, yeah.
That is the next stage. So if there's anyone out there who knows what's going on, we'll try to keep up to date with what's happening.
Yeah.
We may have missed a few. I think Northampton seems to be the closest place that regularly runs tournaments and such like. And hopefully it won't fall on a weekend that we can't do, which is what's happened before.
Yeah.
We had one that was like over the UK Games Expo, and there's another one where nobody who drove was available for instance, and people were doing other things, and it just didn't work out. But we will try and get out there, and we'll wear our Critical Twits t-shirts.
Yes.
So you know who we are.
Yes.
And you can beat us. And start a podcast of your own, which immediately gets all of our followers if you beat us, because that's how it works.
Yes, it's like Highlander.
It is. It's like Highlander. There can be only one
Malifaux podcast.
Yeah, slightly funny British Malifaux podcast from Peterborough with beards. Is that specific enough?
Really specific enough that we shouldn't get in any trouble, but I still feel worried that it might happen.
Yes, we could end up being undone. So, thank you very much for listening. We really, really appreciate it. If you enjoyed that and you want to show your appreciation in return, please feel free to like, subscribe, or even share what we do, because it helps expand our sort of circle of influence.
Yay, people.
And it's just one of those things where we don't have no advertising budget.
No.
We have no cultural capital with which to leverage our content that we have created proactively within the marketplace to get it eyeball time with interested stakeholders. And
the fact that those sentences make me feel sick is the reason why we don't get any extra people's listening.
If we start talking marketing and my buzzwords come out, Aaron just runs and jumps out the window. It's very expensive. You're like Mrs. Doyle in Father Ted. you can't get through an episode of the Critical Twits without some form of defenestration. So yes, if you did enjoy that, please feel free to do all those things. We will love you forever if you do so. We will be back next week with another podcast. Mm-hmm. We've also got all sorts of different things in the pipeline. We're trying to get some RPG let's plays, actual plays going. Has been requested by people.
Yes.
So we do listen and we do respond to every comment and every message that we get. So if you've got something you'd like to say, then please tell us.
Yeah.
Unless you're like that German guy who mocked our beards, at which point, fuck you. It's the only comment I've not responded to. Yeah.
Well, what can you say to it?
He didn't even mean it in a horrible way, but I was quite touchy because my beard is straggly and I know it's bad, but I like it. I grew it myself, It's like my furry chin baby.
Well, he refused to have his profile picture as him with a beard, so I refused to accept what he said.
Yeah, he can't speak. Unless you have beard, you may not judge beard.
Yes.
On that note, we have been the furry chin babies. I've been Brian Ennis.
And I've been Aaron Ravinsky.
And we'll catch you again next time. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.